G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens for round 16. Big weekend incoming. Origin tomorrow night, so stay tuned later in the week for a few more details on what we're talking about and whatnot. But Timbo, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate.
You good?
Yeah. Big couple of days.
Yeah, big couple of days.
Really, probably the biggest couple of days, certainly Monday, Tuesday, probably the last 4 years for me, to be fair. I won't...
Unders. It's got to be more. It's got to be the biggest. I reckon it's the biggest day in 30 years.
Yeah,
for you.
possibly in 30 years. May reveal details later in the season, possibly in the next month, but right now will not be. But had a bit on.
Yeah, a bit happening. Maybe we'll get to that one day. Catman, now, can I just take a moment to, if you don't mind, which I know sometimes you do mind, but if you don't mind this time, I would just like to give a shout out to one Cat Haddad, who has put in one of the great shifts today. We have been here since early this morning. It is now, Cat's been in this room for 12 hours now and has been absolutely working it into the ground.
Thank you.
A little round of applause.
Oh, come on.
For our one and only Kit Kat.
The applause isn't necessary,
It's
but
very
I'm very
appreciated.
Well
appreciative.
done, Kat. I did note, walk in, you're in the comfiest clothes I've ever seen.
Yeah, no,
I
I absolutely dress for comfort today.
Yeah.
I'm in trackies head to toe.
So apart from the borderline slave labour we've been through today, how are you?
Well, honestly, and I know we're not going to disclose it just yet, but compared to Timmy, like everything feels fine.
Yeah, it feels great, doesn't it? I could have worked for 30 hours.
Yeah, it really puts things in perspective. And I'm like, I would do 12 hours every day just to not be in the situation that he found himself in recently.
Yeah. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to reveal it. He had to trade out Keon Colomatungi. Now it's all solved. So we're good.
Oh,
what a roller coaster that's been, by the way.
Oh my goodness, hasn't it? So yeah, for some context, I have not done anything wrong. I am okay. I am well. I'm tired. I'm stressed, but I'm okay.
He's here for you.
I'm not going to prison. I will be able to finish the remainder of the season. And we may reveal in time.
Good to see. Now, Lontel, major sponsors for season 2025, doing great things. There is a link down in the description if you would like to check them out. The internet is just so quick. I even had a little surprise from Lontel. I don't know if I told you this or not, but they got a hold of Matty the Waterboy last week. They sent up some extra modems, maybe. I don't know what they're called.
What's the difference between a modem and a router, Roo?
I couldn't tell you. Do you know, Kat?
I want Timmy's definition.
I'm just a bit stressed at the moment.
It's just can't help you. I think I don't even know.
So a modem, the internet goes through. So you have your Lontel modem. The router sends the Wi-Fi around, right?
Pretty much.
That would have been my guess too.
Yeah. So you can have,
I was going to say it in a much more stupider way though.
I believe you can have one modem, but you can have multiple routers because the router is what sends the Wi-Fi from one place to another. Yeah. I know because my brother's a tech, he's a bit of a tech whiz, he's the go-to in the family, and we have a lot of routers in the house, but the one modem.
Now, I don't mean any disrespect with this comment whatsoever.
Yeah.
Your brother is the definition of looks like a tech dude. He is such a tech dude.
Yeah.
If you lined him up and 100 people said, find a tech dude, got him.
Got him.
Already got him. I only had to look at one and I've got him. He's a smart little cookie.
Yeah, he's very smart.
He's good at what he does, yeah. Got a little bit lost there. So there's free internet for the first week when you sign up there. You don't have to put any details in or anything, thank God. And then you can make a decision at the end of the week whether you want to proceed or not. I've got it at home. Timmy's got it at home. We've got it here on the internet. Yeah. So Matty the Waterboy came up here and set up a new router, maybe a modem, maybe both in here. And, mate, I thought it was going fast last week. You had to upload so much stuff today.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
It's been amazing.
It has, yeah.
Top tier colleague.
Yes, mate, it's actually, we've been here for 12 hours. We had to do so much today. We got a bit on this week.
But the internet has not been a problem at any point today.
Not at any point.
Yeah.
We've been a problem with each other at different points, but the internet's been flying. So shout out to them.
Fine.
Lontel, go check them out. I was talking to Andrew the other day. He mentioned that Lontel does the internet for Barangaroo.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wild, right? They're big dogs.
Yeah.
Proper big dogs.
Should be bigger.
Will be bigger.
Will be bigger.
Do you mean for the 3 business buildings there, building 1, 2 and 3?
I believe so, but I also didn't know what a router was. So read into that what you will, but that was my understanding of it.
Because there's some big businesses.
I
in
know
those
that's
buildings.
it's proper.
And you know what? There's probably some people listening or watching this that work there, and they might know where their internet comes from. If you do know, just drop it in the comments.
Well, they've now just landed the biggest business in Australia, Bloke in a Bar.
Yeah, they're down there in Bloke as well, so we don't get to see Matty the Waterboy as much. He used to be running up here 3 times a week to upload anything he had and do whatever he had to do, so that's a little bit sad. But Lontel doing great things. Referral code down below there, guys. Go check it out. The password there is beers. Go check that out and have a go at it for the first week and see how you go. All right. Anything else you want to throw into the introduction? Or you're all good?
No, I'm pretty good, man.
You good, Dad? Kathmandu, you all good?
Yeah, we're sweet.
All right, let's get into... Oh, actually, I've got something to add before we get into Team List Tuesday. Thursday, we have got the CBA Bowl. That is up on the Sunshine Coast. Myself and Scatmandu will be up there. There'll be a very tired version of us up there anyway.
And Jimbo.
And Jimbo Slice, he'll be up there with us as well. He looks exactly like Fletcher Sharp. You'll pick him out of a crowd very quickly.
Yeah, he suits.
Actually, his dad listens to this show,
He
so
does.
Shout out, Dad. We love you and appreciate you. He doesn't like you, but he loves me, apparently. I might have made that up. But
that's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, it's probably true.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So we'll be up there. Guys, I've got 2-for-1 tickets for you guys. There'll be a link in the description. The password you have to use is Guru241. Those are the numbers, Timmy. 241 SOO. So we'll put the code down there and everything. 2-for-1 tickets if you want to come up there to Sunshine Coast. Like in The Simpsons, we're spelling everything in letters now.
I'll be honest with you, mate. After my last 24 hours, I'm on 2-4-1. I'm like, interesting combination. I'm like, what jerseys are the first 3 try scorers? What's he getting at here?
So, yeah, if you do want to come along to CBA Bowl, that's at the Sunshine Coast Stadium. I can't believe it's still called the Sunshine Coast Stadium. We should sponsor it for a few dollars.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Beers and Breakevens Stadium.
Oh,
I'd love that.
Instantly iconic.
I'd be heaps into that. We'll see you up there. That's on Thursday. So, as you know, Wednesday, Origin, Thursday, CBA Bowl. Now, guys, obviously, we'll go through all the team lists. The big talking point this week is who will back up, who won't back up. We'll go through it as we go through the teams and whatnot, but stay tuned on SC Playbook, Guru, and just everyone else's platforms to find out later in the week. We're just doing our best before Origin to get you some content, and then you'll have a better idea at the end of the week. Friday night, 8 p.m, Tigers, Raiders, Campbelltown. Are you going to this one?
Yes. With
Hamiso. How good. Very jealous. Campbelltown for the Tigers. Fanua Bolle returns. 12 starts as well. Returns in the forward pack, so it moves Seafarth back to the edge. The bench at the moment is De Silva and Latu Finu. Fantastic for Terrell May. I guess the big talking point is here, mate, the 11th hour hero. Well, what I think will be a hero. Jerome Luai going in for New South Wales. Big ask. Wednesday night. 48 hours later to back up in Sydney. Do you reckon he'll be there or not?
No. So are we just going to roll the Origin backup chat into TLT? Makes sense, doesn't it?
I think we just go through it like that.
Yeah. My answer is no.
No? Okay. So
no, he plays 80 minutes in Origin. He'll have 10 runs. He'll have 25 tackles. He'll bat himself from pillar to post. Fly home. If he's going to play, I guess he gets on the red eye over from Perth, gets back. 6 a.m.
I'll give you the hot tip. If they win, he ain't getting on the red eye.
Yeah.
He'll be getting on a flight the next day with a red eye, but he won't be on that one.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. And if I'm Jerome Luai, and granted, I don't have that dog in me like him, but if you say, hey, after 48 hours of Origin, do you want to take on Tarpanay, Papali'i, Hudson? Probably good.
Yeah, I don't see
Probably rather do anything else.
How about their bench? Talon De Silva, Latu Finu, and Jack Bird, the smallest bench in the history of rugby league.
Well, yeah, and you'll have Latu Finu. We assume he'll play 5'8", or he'll play in the halves at that point.
Yeah.
So you'll probably get a Sakar or someone come onto the bench. But I'll tell you what, if the bench does stay like that for whatever reason, huge for one Terrell May, especially when you got 12 returning for his first game, Bolle returning for his first game. Even with more forwards, it's great for him.
It is huge for Team A, but we're also at the point where Team A just plays 75 to 80 minutes every week, and I don't think anything changes.
Yeah, you probably can't bump it to 95 minutes, can he?
It could be a 4 middle forward bench, and he still probably just plays 75 minutes. So
yeah, if only someone called that in the pre-season. The Raiders. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. Jed Stewart makes his debut. very good to see. I know he's a podcast listener as well. He listens to Bloke and everything every week. I met him in Canberra last year. One of the great fellas. You actually look a bit like Jed Stewart.
Bit of Jed about me?
Yeah, you actually do. I've never thought about it before.
Add him to the list of doppelgangers.
Yes, I'm going to start that this week. Gun. That's my content for Friday sorted. I love that.
Gap there.
That's fantastic.
Super exciting.
Yeah, unreal. I think it is. It's one thing that I see and, you know, obviously situations like this are rare, but I think that a lot of people assume that if you've got a dad in rugby league, life's easier for you. I personally think it's 10 times fucking harder. And I'm sure you can talk about it as well, but I know Ricky didn't want to name him, didn't want to give him a debut jersey at this point, and the players essentially said, nah, he's ready, which is an unreal story.
Says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
It'd get you a shitload of opportunities. It'd get you a shitload of good coaching, but geez, there'd be some headaches with it as well.
Yeah, I personally think there would be more negatives than positives.
I mean, Kyle Flanagan right now, like, try and play good footy and just all this shit going on, like, nightmare.
Yeah, tough going. Imagine meeting Nath Cleary, like, tough.
He's done tough, Nate, hasn't he?
Corey Horsburgh, he'll be in jersey 13. Josh Pupley in the front row. Anything else to touch on with the Durs there? Hudson Young doesn't play enough minutes. It'll just be a time thing, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be based on how many minutes he plays in Origin. I think, like, let's say he plays his 20, 25 minutes, maybe he backs up. I still think it's a bloody stretch. But if he does play, because he's a popular buy this week, people looking to sell Ola, Keon we'll get to shortly, but he looks like he's a hole. But we had a big chat on the Playbook podcast about 2RF replacements and deep diving that. A lot going Hudson, but I think even if he does back up, surely it's not 80 minutes.
Mate, dare I say, and I'm not sure how many other coaches I'd say this about. Part of me thinks that if they win, Ricky will go, mate, just enjoy the win.
100%.
Yeah, just go and have a few schooners and just enjoy yourself.
And also, it's not exactly panic stations at the Raids at the moment. We're not desperate for a win. It's a game that, if we're serious, we should be winning anyway. So I don't think he'll play. However, limited minutes in Origin, he could back up. If anyone's going to, he's a chance.
He's a chance. All right, Saturday, 3 p.m, Wars Panthers, Go Media Stadium. For the Wars, obviously, Kurt Capel hasn't been named. Graham Tafua in the centres. Lecker and Laban, both on the edges, which I'm very, very excited to see. For the Panthers, none of the Origin boys all been rested officially. Laurie at fullback, Alamotti on the wing, Schneider at 7, Papali on the edge, Eisenhuth in jersey 13. I guess the one advantage, we're not waiting to see with these Panthers. We know now.
Oh, the Clitters will want to have a family reunion and they'll get over there after Origin.
Hey. I was just putting it out there. At least you know I don't sit on the fence, all right? And for the record, this was not a cut and dry decision. I'll have you know that.
All right. Any other good ones for us?
If you've been following in the Rook my Penrith Mail, you'll know how accurate I usually am. So no, this wasn't a cut and dry decision.
I know, mate, I know.
And fuck you, Tim. Anything else you want to talk about on that game?
Nah.
Not really much to take from it, right? Alamotti's back on the sting.
No.
Keen to see Laban in the second row, but yeah, not much to touch on there. Let us never speak of it again. Okay, Saturday, 5:30, Finn v the Knights. This one's in Perth. So you would assume most of those guys will back up. Hamiso has been named at fullback for the Dolphins. Trey Fuller is on the extended, so he'd be a sniff if they were to rest Hamiso. But I believe he will back up. For the Knights, KP has been named at fullback. Dom Young is on the wing. Bradman Best is back at centre. Enormous. Greg Marsu, I thought he'd be out for a while. He is not out for a while. He's back this week. Sharp named at 6. Cogger at 7. Frizzell returns in the front row. Jones on the bench. Where do you want to start here? There's a lot there without a heap there at the same time.
I mean, the Knights, big moves. I mean, and I guess we start with potential Origin backups. Any restings on these Saturdays would not shock me one bit to Origin players, especially if there's anyone sort of battered and bruised. Like, they will want to back up. You like some Ponga and Hammer, but any of them resting wouldn't shock me at all.
I think the fact this game's in Perth probably helps them.
This is the Perth one. Yeah, no, my bad.
Still, though, I think, like, if you've got bumps and bruises and you've got good replacements, which they do, I can get around that. But I think it being in Perth definitely helps.
Yeah, and I think Ponga missing, not backing up after Origin 1 on the 2-day.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably play.
Yeah.
If he gets through, clearly. Hammer.
Or going to play and they'll have less to celebrate as well.
Yeah.
We'll be straight to rehab.
Exactly. So Yeah, it's had, like a few boys dropping out as well. Like there was McCarthy dropped out. There's It's had a lot without being that much Supercoach relevant. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the big one's Fletcher Sharp backing up. You sold, yeah?
I did sell, yeah. So I made a decision last week, put it in the Root Crew. I sold Fletcher Sharp to Ewan Aitken, who only got about 50 on the weekend, which is a little bit disappointing. And I'll talk about it when I get to South Sydney, but I do have a little bit of a concern over Ewan Aitken for this weekend anyway.
Keen to hear that because Ewan Aitken flagged as a buy about 3 weeks ago. And I was sort of saying, base is excellent, dual position, looks a great buy. I was going up in price. We'll jag an attacking stat at some point. Hot tip. Has not jagged an attacking stat. The 3 weeks he's on 53, 60, 48. In those games, his base, 51, 60, 48. He has not had anything in the realms of attack.
Correct. He hasn't.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal.
Tell us now, what do you got? What's your concern?
About Ewan Aitken?
Yeah.
All right, well that's the next game. So is there anything else you want to touch on there?
No.
There isn't, right? Okay. So the next game is Saturday, 7:35, Souths Storm. It's at a core. As far as the Melbourne Storm goes, all the Origin boys are named. Whilst I'm getting this up, mate, and I just get this together, do you want to tell us your thoughts on the Melbourne Storm and who backs up, who doesn't? Lay of the land.
I think Harry's at 100-1. I just think with his hamstring concerns, the Knights top forward, ticking along nicely enough, not cruising, but going well enough. I think he rests. I think Cam Munster is a good chance to rest. He may back up. I just think with Tyron Wishart, I actually sold again, put it in playbook in the playbook chat on the weekend, but I sold Cam Munster to Jaden Campbell. I couldn't quite do Dill Brown to him, which is devastating. I missed it by about 20k, so that hurt. And I was going to potentially be without a 5'8" this week, so made that play. But I reckon Munster's a huge chance not to back up. I think Coates is a big chance not to back up. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if Bellyache took this opportunity to rest those players, but I think Harry Grant is the big one that'll sit this one out.
You give me 100-1 for Harry Grant?
Yeah.
You're giving me 100-1.
What, you reckon he's playing?
Oh, no, I'm just saying 100-1's outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
Those odds are outrageous.
Look, if I had a bookmaking business, I'd probably be that generous. But for the sake of hyperbole.
No, I think it makes sense for him to rest in this one. There's so much of a season to go along and no one else is really threatening that top four at the moment.
Coming back from hamstring injuries this season, the importance he has on this team, 3-day turnaround from Origin in Perth, he'll play big minutes.
Yep.
Hammies will be tight, 5-hour flight. He gets injured, their chances of winning the comp take such a significant hit. Like, I just don't see why he plays.
Yep, very fair. Now, when it comes to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, Trell's been named at fullback, Dodds at 6. Worth noting, on the extended bench, you got Campbell Graham, Kellen Colemantungi, and Cody Walker. Now, I'm just eyeballing this team. Latrell Mitchell, if he wasn't to play in this one coming out of Origin, which I'm not ruling out by any means, he's suffered a lot of injuries over the last few years and whatnot. I reckon he's every chance to miss. Now, if Latrell Mitchell was to miss this game, I would assume that means they're moving AJ or Ty Munro into fullback, right? I'm not sure what's going on with Campbell Graham. He was named last week as well, and from what I've been told, he didn't train at all. So maybe he'll be sweet to go. But if he's not, mate, there isn't another outside back on that extended bench, which I would assume would mean that if Latrell's not playing, they're going to have to move guys around, which would probably mean Aitken ends up playing in the centres, which I don't love this week, which means that Jacob Host probably goes in the 2RF. If Campbell Graham isn't sweet, which from what I've gathered, I don't think he trained at all last week with South Sydney. I think he spent the whole week in the gym. So maybe he'll be sweet for this week. I hope so. But if he's not, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we end up with a Ewan Aitken out there. Because as you said, Latrell Mitchell, he's had his hamstring injuries as well not that long ago and over the years.
I think that, you summed up well. Latrell, huge chance to rest.
Yeah.
Like I said, with his injury history, I think there's a massive chance. Yeah, okay, it makes sense. I like that from you, Roo. Not bad.
Thank you very much. Shout out to my group chat that pointed that out.
What edge? Do we know what edge he'd play?
The first question is, if Alex Johnson is out, if Alex Johnson, I assume he plays, AJ or Ty Munro, I assume one of them will go to fullback. I'd assume AJ. That means that I would assume you're not going to move Jack to the wing, you'd move Tass to the wing.
Yeah.
So I would assume that would mean that Ewan Aitken would be playing right centre because Jack played left centre last week.
Okay, right.
So I think that's the most likely thing, which isn't great.
I was going to say if you're
I mean, he's playing right edge back row anyway, so he's like I'd rather in the back row. Sure. Yeah.
Because you want to be going at the Storm's right edge. The
yes, so you ideally want to be on the left. Yeah. So, just one thing, and there's a lot of dominoes that have to fall there, but it's also not a crazy amount of dominoes to fall.
Keon. Huge.
Yeah, enormous. We'll get to it soon, but that was probably the one trade I was considering this week was Keon if he was injured. And you know what? Like, playing this week, I don't really give a shit. Playing next week, cool, but I don't really care. As long as he's there for that next bye round. Yeah. Enormous.
Well, when it was all we were rating information, I'm sitting there going, all right, 1 to 3 weeks, hold. If they said like a hard, probably 3 weeks, I'd hold. 4+. 4 weeks would be like the question mark. 5+ I sell. But I'm saying like, he's a season keeper. Covers round 18. You now just hold.
Yeah. So thankfully that news broke just before Physio did his video and I watched the first few minutes of it. He does a good little summary of the Keon thing. So we'll get to that very soon. Sunday, 2 p.m, we have got the Broncos and the Sharks. For the Bronx, no big changes off the back of their big win 2 weeks ago. Takura out, Jack Goz on the pine. For the Sharkies, that cursed left centre spot.
Yeah.
This big Sifa Talakai jumps in there. Mascot born and bred. Good luck. Atkinson comes into the 14. Do we want to talk about Talakai a little bit now? Or
let's do it.
I haven't had a big look at him yet. I'm going to get his stats and stuff up now. But a guy that we know previously, in SuperCoach and whatnot, has been super relevant when playing left centre. You might remember him from such performances as Mal Meninga game and whatnot. That was one hell of a night out.
Manly, Seagulls.
Yeah.
I remember I brought him in that week. Was it 2 years ago? I was at one of my best mates' weddings. And I checked the score at halftime and he was on like 140. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a Friday night, wasn't it? It was a Thursday or a Friday, I think.
I think it was a Thursday. It was like one of those like you remember where you were when this happened.
I remember where I was.
I remember where I was.
Waterworks Hotel Botany. Shout out to it.
I was sitting in a hair salon, getting my hair done, refreshing the app, going, "Why didn't I get Talakai this week?"
That's mad.
That was a while ago now.
That wasn't last year. It was 2
seasons ago.
No, it was. I think it was 2022.
It actually could have been 2022.
It was 2022, 165 against Manly.
Was it a Thursday?
Oh, it felt like 2 years ago max. It was it was 2022.
Was it a Thursday?
Can you see what it was?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty confident it was a Thursday. But you being at a wedding threw me a little bit. But I mean, there are weddings on Thursdays.
Yeah, I'll get it up. Like I'm just.
Whose wedding were you at?
Nick Moon, actually, who does the weekly rap for
the
SC
Moon
Playbook.
Man.
The Moon Man, yeah. Funnily enough, a diehard Manly Warringah Seagulls supporter.
Cop that.
So Talakai scored in the first minute, scored in the 14th minute. So he had numerous try assists as well. Ronnie Mulitalo scored 19th minute and 26 minutes. So I assume he set them both up. So he went try, assist within 26 minutes.
Maniac. How good. That's a bit of mascot stock for you.
One sec, but before we move on, I'm so curious now. 3 line breaks, 2 tries, 20 runs for 262 metres, 2 line assists, 3 try assists, 8 tackle busts, 3 offloads. That's a night out.
What a maniac.
Thursday, the 21st of April.
Thursday.
That's so funny.
That's mad.
It was
I remember that so clearly.
Did you say 21st of April? That's why I was at Botany for Josh Durkin's birthday, 20th of April. That's what we were doing, yeah. Shout out to JD. He's going to Fiji this week. Wrap it up, big fella. Okay, let's move to now, Sifa Talakai. We have got 303K, dual position, break even of 14. What are you feeling here?
Heart says buy, head says don't.
Head says fuck off.
I want to own him so bad. I've been waiting for him to go to centre as an 80-minute man for about 3 years.
He's on the waiver wire. Hello, Sifa.
How high up are you?
I'm pretty high because I'm so shit, but yeah, it's not great.
Oh,
I wish I wasn't in Sifa Mail, but anyway.
Missing round 18 hurts. So, like, I'm just having a quick look. Played centre the first 3 games last year, scored 75, 82, 57. Yeah, on account of being short on time last year, as I would have stat deep dived it, but I did not. So wait for that later in the week, so I'll look into it. But we know he's good at centre, but he just looks good there, right? He'll get through plenty of work. He's in a try scoring position for the Sharkies. Hero scored there every game. I want him. Hiroti is 4 to 6 weeks. That would mean he'd be back after that round 18 bye if it's that 4-week mark. So you'd only get a few games of Sifa. So it's I want him, but I think what do you think?
I'll tell you what's going to happen if we don't buy him. Sifa's going to go full Sifa for the next 4 weeks, and Hiroti's not going to get the fucking jersey back.
That's a genuine thing though.
Yeah, 100% it is.
Like Hiroti was there, they weren't necessarily winning games. Hiroti was going fine, but.
Yeah. And you have a look over the next few weeks. Like he plays the Broncos this week, so he'll get that Katoni Staggs matchup, which I like. He'll then get the Melbourne right edge, which I like. A bye. He'll then get the Dolphins, which will be the Jake Averillo edge, won't it? Yep. Then he'll get the Roosters, which is Rob Toyer, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then the South Sydney right edge as well, which might be Campbell Graham. So
could be one of 37 different bunnies.
Yeah. But that's man, there's a fucking good run there. And if he gets the run for the run home, Cowboys, Dragons, Titans, Knights. And he'll probably get a rested Canterbury side getting ready for finals.
Yeah. Break even 14. I would just like to see, hopefully Fizz touches on Hiroti when we watch the video. I'm just worried about if it's 4 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I would absolutely love it if Billy Smith wasn't playing round 18. That's a move I'd be happy to make, yeah. But with him playing 18, I just don't know if it's worth it.
Don't know if I can afford to not have those 32 points in round 18.
Exactly right, yeah. And if Nathan Lawson wasn't worth more than a bag of chips, I'd also consider something there. But all right.
But yes, he has my interest.
Yeah, stay tuned later in the week. We'll let you know what we're doing there. My gut says I probably won't, though. Sunday, 4:05, Chooks, Cows, Allianz, Mucky Mark returns to the wing. All their Origin players has been named. Faketti's in jersey 13 for the Roosters. We'll wait and see how that one plays out. No Radley in that game too. For the Cows, Valea returns at centre. Bateman on the edge, Nana on the edge, Cotter at 13. Their Origin players have been named. Anything really relevant from there, mate?
I mean, this is the kind of one where, like, late Sunday, who knows if they back up? Like, it's hard to even guess. Anyone with injury niggles, every chance to rest. Like, I can see an Angus Crichton backing up and playing 50 sort of thing, maybe off the bench or, like, getting spelled late sort of thing.
Watson just depends on minutes he plays in Origin.
Yeah, like Tommy did, and he'll want to back up and play, which I'm sure he will.
I think the Cowboys, off the back of last week, I think those guys kind of have to back up for this.
Yeah.
That club's, it's on its knees at the moment.
Yeah, they'll be doing their best.
Yeah. Sunday, 6:15, got the Eels, Titans at Combank. Papali, he's at 5'8" this week, which is good to see. Who called it last week? Fatima called it a few weeks ago, him playing 5'8", and I still thought, I don't know about that, but he's been named there. Shout out to it. Great call there. Hawkins at 7, so both the Eels halves are obviously out. Lomax has been named. I'd be surprised if Lomax probably didn't back up from this one.
He'll back up, especially when you add in, I mean, very different, but Brown and Moses out. Missed games this season already. He'll be there, I reckon. Yeah,
I think if I know Zach Lomax like I think you do, I think he might sniff out a bit of a flack track here too, just quietly.
It's an interesting one because, like, I'm getting ready to pounce. Could potentially do it this week. No Brown and Moses is a big one.
Well, I already own him and it shits me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, if Moses was playing in this and they backed up from Origin, like, I'd probably pull the trigger. But now that they're both out, it changes a lot. But then you're like, he's playing the Titans away from home. So
what? Dill Brown's out for the ref push or the ref touch, isn't he? Yeah, it's too bad for you guys. Mate, for the Titans, has Brian Kelly been dropped?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Wow. Last weekend was the last straw.
that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
What?
That one of all games.
That one of all games.
Yeah,
that huge win, that famous victory for the club was the one they went, you know what, Brian Kelly, we're going to draw a line in the sand this week.
I guess Alan Fitzgibbon showed enough, and then Jojo Fafita was back from injury. So they've just gone, you're gone.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like an old one to me. But anyway, Tino and Mo, they're...
Dave Fafita extend 18th man.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, before the injury, he was playing Q Cup anyway. I mean, you hear the rumours out of there. It doesn't sound like it's in a great spot between them and Dave.
Until he gets back to the team, plays 80, plays 2 or 3 games, scores well, looks good. I wouldn't touch, but
yeah, wouldn't even look at.
No.
Bye round, Dragons, Dogs, Manly. Shout out James Graham. Physio chat. We've got him in this week again. Now, he's done this recording on Tuesday night, so he's obviously not going to tell you what's happening with Origin and whatnot. Key on information has come in. We'll chuck it over to NRL Physio now.
Alrighty, fellas, SuperCoach relevant injuries for this week. So first one, Keon Koloamatangi. He has been named on an extended bench after suffering a facial injury that doesn't, by all accounts, it doesn't need surgery. They've reviewed with the specialist, doesn't need surgery. Is it possible that he plays this week? So funnily enough, effectively, this is sounding like best case scenario. You can have minor eye socket fractures. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it does happen in the very rarest of cases where you can have these minor eye socket fractures where guys come back in a week to 2 weeks. It is usually done, with the clearance of a facial surgeon in extreme circumstances where, grand final is really important. Is a round 16-17 game for the Rabbitohs is important, as a grand final. I mean, that's going to be up for the Rabbitohs to decide. But more, I guess, what I'm getting at is overall, I think he's a hold. He's definitely a hold because even if he doesn't come back this week, it is possible that he's back next week or, more importantly, for round 18 the week after. I think you can pretty much guarantee at this point if they're naming him this week and calling him day to day, which means his recovery prospects could change quite significantly as each day passes, that you're more than likely going to have him back for that round 18 game. So I am holding at this point in time for sure. I'm not counting on him playing this week. I think next week more likely, and then round 18 almost a definite is the way that I would approach it. Fletcher Sharp with his calf injury, he's been named. I'm not trading him out at this point in time. I don't have enough trades to do so. If you are absolutely flush, maybe you could justify it because there is a slight increase re-injury risk. So with calves, it's about 4 to 5% in that first week back. But yeah, I mean, what's that? 19 out of 20 times he's probably going to get through that game okay. So for me, probably not enough to sell at this point in time. And his performance shouldn't be too affected. If he's cleared to play, he should be okay. It's mainly that re-injury risk that I would worry about. Olokawatu with his shoulder, that's a ticking time bomb.com kind of situation. I would definitely be trading him out at this point because even best case, he misses 4 weeks. So he misses all of those. Look, he's got 2 buys in that time. So you could argue maybe he only misses 2 or 3 scoreable games. But even when he comes back, the risk of re-injury is quite significant. It could pop out again at any time. No thank you for me. Give me plenty of other CTW or 2RF options that don't have that injury risk hanging over their head, and they still have plenty of upside as well. So I think he is definitely a trade. Greg Marzhew, he's been named after that really what looked like a painful arm injury, but was actually a neck injury last week. The main issue here is aggravation risk. Because he's got that disc issue in his neck, if his head gets moved in a way that aggravates it again, he could, if that had happened to him earlier in the game, he was gone, he was in a lot of pain, it wouldn't have settled down very quickly. So yeah, he's definitely not a buy for me at this point in time. If you're an owner, you could hold and sort of see how he goes on that wing with a full strength Knights backline back again. But yeah, I just am not overly interested in him from a buy perspective, and I don't think he's a rock solid sell. But once again, if you're in the luxury where you've got heaps, then go for it. Moen Hiroti, he is out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's pretty standard for a moderate grade calf tear. Now, we did have the experience with Kiraz where Gus said that he was going to be out 4 to 6 weeks and he was back in 2 or 3. So are the Sharks playing silly buggers? I doubt it. I think that was just Dr. Gus having his way with us. So yeah, 4 to 6 weeks is looking likely. I have Hiroti. He is out of my team at the moment for me. And then my obligatory mention of Tommy Turbo. I've got to put him in there every week. I mean, look, it sounds like he's moving to centre, so he's probably a rock solid sell anyway. But yeah, I just think anybody who's still hanging on to some hope, jump off. And yeah, I love Tommy, but yeah, I think it's just not his year this year. As always, guys, if you want more information like this, Magic Sponge podcast comes out every Sunday night, Monday morning. It's out there now, so check it out. And cheers, and I'll see you next week.
Shout out Fizz, doing great things as always. What'd you take from that, Timbuktu?
From that, I took tickingtimebomb.com. No, thank you for me. I really enjoyed that.
That's bad.
Yeah, very like high school kind of chat, and I'm all for it.
It's either like high school or I've got 2 kids. There's no one in between those two things would say that sentence, and I love that about Fizz.
So do I.
It's mad.
Fletcher Sharp, I held, you sold. Pretty confident about that. 19 in 20, I think it was. So expect that 20th game to be this week when he runs out and does in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
Keon, rock solid hold, as expected, so that's encouraging. Yeah, probably the Hiroti 4 to 6 weeks as anticipated. Doesn't help us a lot on the Talakai chat, but yeah, a bit in there.
I didn't really get to explain my thoughts on the Fletcher Sharp thing. Do you want me to run that through for everyone just so they know? So I traded in Ewan Aiken, as I said. I just prefer the base stats of him. Fletcher Sharp's had a fantastic season. I've been very high on him. He's at 754K at the moment. My thought process was, and this was last week, he was missing that Roosters game, round 16. He's obviously playing, as we've heard. I was a bit iffy if he was. But even then, playing the Dolphins in that one, and then the next few weeks he goes Raiders, bye, Melbourne, Wars, Raiders, bye, and then he's going to play a desperate Panthers team in round 23, who I kind of think are getting back to where they are. So I just had a look at that draw and went, okay, in the next 5 games, he's going to play all top 4 teams. I thought, okay, what's his record against decent teams this year? Because there's only 4 of them in the comp at the moment. I just had a look through. He's had a great season. If you take out the games against the reserve grade sides that he played, South Sydney and Penrith, his average for the year goes down to 66, which is still mad, don't get me wrong. But then I just had a look at the actual top 4 teams he played this year. He played Canterbury, he scored 43, and he played, who was the other top, the Warriors, and he scored 48. So I decided to go with Aiken. I freed up about 200K, which I can use elsewhere, and I think I'll end up with more points. I thought I'd get 60 a week, not 48 a week from Aiken. So that was my decision. I just don't think you're going to see that ceiling from Fletcher Sharp against these good defensive sides over the next few weeks and the 2 buys in that period. And I think I'm trading him at his peak at the moment.
Yeah,
Talk to me.
I tossed and turned, but ultimately I was happy enough to hold. I just love him as a footballer.
Yep.
I love his energy. I love the way he plays, and the draw scared me off, and that was about the only thing that made me think maybe I do sell. But the reality is he was missing the next 2 major buy rounds, and he's probably still in a slight bit of doubt for this week, realistically. So you didn't know at the time, though, he was still in doubt. So the one thing that probably helped get me over the line was when I saw Raiders, Storm, Warriors, they're all in Newcastle. Mm-hmm. If they were away or 2 or 3 were away, I'd go, okay, that scares me a lot more. At home, they're all sides that can leak. Then they're good, but Spice sort of made a point on the podcast tonight around Fletcher Sharp and oppositions and that. No defences are really that good. The doggies are rock solid. That there's ones that are far better than others. I think you're right in what you say. The big scores you had this year of 131, 128, 119, he loses that ceiling against those clubs. But I still think he can score his 70 to 80 against them and score well enough and be a keeper and hopefully capitalise against some of the softer clubs on the run home. But yeah, mate, I didn't think it was cut and dry at all, and I've got no knock on the sell. At his high ownership, mate, if he does go 40, 40, 40 against those teams and drops 150K, you're laughing.
Yeah, and look, I think there's every chance we get to round 24 and I go, okay, I need to get him back in for these last few matchups for sure. But I just think with 2 buys and playing all top 4 teams, it was a pass from me. So happy to go with you and Aiken. Wasn't happy with the score on the weekend. Hopefully he doesn't play centre this week, or I'll tell you what, you'll be hearing about it. Fletcher Sharp. All right, Blue Wealth Property back on board for season 2025. Shout out to them now. Origin incoming in 24 hours. It's tonight when you guys are tuning in. Big evening for Queensland, Timbo. I would say this month, it's probably the 3rd biggest evening for Queensland. That's behind Tuesday, the 24th of June, the Blue Wealth Property Show on the Sunshine Coast. That's at 6 p.m. at the Maroochy Door RSL. I think they call it the Garucci Door RSL now. Tuesday, 24th of June. Links in the description for that one. And Wednesday, the 25th of June. That one's at Fortitude Valley, the Rydges there, 6 p.m. live in Brisbane. The link is also down below to sign up to that there. So 2 big events in Queensland. Is it fair to say Origin 2 is the 3rd biggest night for Queensland this month behind those 2?
Absolutely.
I think it's without a doubt.
Yeah.
You might actually win something those nights. You never know.
That was good from you.
Thank you.
After a big day.
It's been a day.
You've done very well there.
It's been a day. Yeah.
Just for you, like we'll break it up shortly, briefly. Seen the forecast for Perth?
No, I haven't. Talk to me.
Twill be wet. Very
really?
Wet. I know this means nothing to you, but 100% chance, you'll understand that, of 10 to 35 millimetres of rain. The chance of a thunderstorm, morning and afternoon, to be fair. Wet, Roo.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bit in that, not just precipitation.
I think that favours us.
I think so. I'm so confident that I don't think it matters either way.
I think we've got the two. Well,
I think with our...
We've definitely got the best kicking game.
Yeah.
Might not have the 2 best kicking games now. We had the best kicking game.
Moses would have been nice.
Yes.
Clearly still got a good kicking game there.
Well, I think he's still the best kicking game.
Powerful back. Sorry. They could have used Chez's long kicking game in the
They could have used Chez's long kicking game. Interesting.
Idiots.
Anyway, that's not what you came here for. You came here for Blue Wealth events. Sunshine Coast, 6 p.m. Garucci Door, RSL, Tuesday, 24th of June. Brisbane, 6 p.m. Rydges Fortitude Valley, Wednesday, the 25th of June. That will be Tony and Mort's doing great things up there. So make sure you reach out. We've actually had 2 properties moved this week, which is very, very exciting. Plenty more to come. And we've got something special coming your way with Blue Wealth. So stay tuned. Just stay tuned. There might be
pretty
something.
Soon.
Might be a little
soon.
something.
Yeah.
Little something, Kat.
Yeah.
Little something.
There's a bit in that as well.
There's a bit in that. Now, if you're not sitting down, I advise you do. If you're driving your car,
pull over.
Because this is going to be one of the great yarns here. Now, we have our Beers and Breakevens weekly competition. Now, the winner this week was David. Now, David's name, which we giggled at pre-show, is Lockie's mum, which I thought, that's pretty childish and pretty, blah, blah, blah. I thought, it's a bit odd, but sure. I've since received this mail. A good mate of mine who will remain unnamed, but he's one of the great humans of all time. I received this message from him just 20 minutes ago. A mate just sent me this. How funny is this? My mate is coming in the top 50 in SuperCoach Classic. His team name was Lockie's mum's butt plug. But because he nearly topped the round this week, the SuperCoach admins changed his name without telling him so content creators wouldn't grab it and run. You should tell the guru. You got to get up earlier than that, guys. We're content creators and we're running with it.
We don't miss this shit.
We do not miss this shit.
And if we miss it, we know someone that didn't miss this shit.
So shout out to the man that sent me this in. You know who you are, MO. MOD, one of the greats of all time. But yes, I absolutely love that. I think it's hilarious. I think it's fantastic that they attempted to bury it, and the Beers and Breakevens royalty just hand through the ground and they've resurrected themselves. How good.
Mate, absolutely thwarted.
Yes.
I'm sure I had a question sent in about it as well, and but it was a lot more cryptic. But now it all just makes so much sense. It all makes sense,
yeah. So shout out to you, David. Also shout out to you, Lockie, as well. It's a tough gig. But yeah, I think that's hilarious, and we'll send you out. Send us an email, David, beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. Hats incoming, football's incoming. I think that's great gear, Tim. I think that's probably my favourite moment that we've ever done of that section of the show.
Oh, it's a cracker.
Yeah.
There's some spice added.
Yeah, and shout out to the people at SuperCoach. That's hilarious. You can't hold good content
Shout out to Lockie's mum.
Shout out to Lockie's mum.
Who inspired the name.
Yes.
There's a story there too.
There is, I'm sure there is, which I love.
That one we probably can't share on.
No, probably not. But yeah, it's sort of, that scene in Jurassic Park where they're like, Mother Nature always finds a way. Content always finds a way.
Content
you can't
always
kill it. It always finds a way, and I love it. It's undefeated. So good. All right. Shout out to you, David. Love your work. Let's get stuck into... Now, look, because there's not a heap on this week, like as far as SuperCoach trades and everything, we've sort of spoken about a few that we've floated, but there's not much doing. We really have to wait till Origin. So we thought it might be a good time for me and Tim to get out the mirror, talk to the man in the mirror, reflect on our seasons, what we've learnt and whatnot. So our very first, we've got 4 dot points we're going to go through here. Our very first one, Timbo, general thoughts on your season so far. What have you taken away so far, mate?
Yeah. Well, mate.
We're taking one, mate.
Yeah, happy with it so far. Went pretty hard on trades early on in the season. Going to like that approach more and more. Make moves early through the trades. No need to be too conservative early on. Get your team set up at least that first 6 to 8 weeks, which I did. Like I hit a peak of 700.
Yep.
And then I had 3 just awful weeks on the trot and dropped, I think, 3,000 spots. I've gone way back up to like about 2,000 on the dot now. We've got to see how we ran at the start of the show.
I did really well too. Very disappointed in that.
Yeah. You had your best week of the year. We forgot last week and I had a ripper.
I get, mate, I'm just one of those knockabout kind of guys. I don't like to brag. I just like to go about my work quietly.
I can't believe you forgot that.
I didn't forget. I chose not to brag, mate. This is the sort of guy I am. You all parade me as this fuckwit. I'm not like that. I'm just a humble guy. I'm just a humble city guy with country values. I keep telling you.
It's always the humble ones that have to remind you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So this week I scored 1,092. I jumped up about 3,000 spots. So I'm into about 7,000. I have got 15 trades left, but I've got 650K in the bank.
Far out.
So it's almost like I've got 16 or 17 trades left because I've got so much money in there. Well, that's why I look at it. But I won't look at it the same if you've got heaps of money though. Know that.
I don't have you always have a point in the season where you have some stupid amount of money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have 18 trades left and a boost. I have 163,000.
Oh, so you've only got 14 trades then? Realistically.
That's a good amount of money though. Yours are just sickening.
What'd you score?
I scored 995 without Sir Herbert.
You scored 995.
Team went very well except for a certain Dolphins left centre and I've since blocked Cody Nicarima on Instagram. I'm sure he felt that one.
Oh, he's the junk time king. Yeah, okay, mad. 9 weeks in a row. Fucking suck.
When I put that up on social,
you muppet.
When I put it on social as he's at the junk time king, it was taken the wrong way. I didn't mean it as if it was junk time is bad. Junk time is great. It means you're still having a crack. Sometimes.
Beep. Watch out, guys. Timmy Williams in reverse. Backing her up. Just back it.
But yeah, anyway, 995 without Herbie, so not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, look, all things considered, I had Herbie. I think I beat you by not
about 100.
About 100, yeah. I think it was 150 before updates, and then that
updates were fantastic. I mean, they didn't update any game until Sunday night, so
yeah, it wasn't ideal. But yeah, there were some pretty big updates this weekend. I think that I took the VC on Ruben Garrick. You took the C on Teddy. Yeah, so there was a pretty decent swings there, enough to make a big difference.
What'd you score, mate?
1,092. So I had a good week. Went up about 3,000. As I said, I've floated within the same 1,000 spots for about 6 weeks. So it was nice to go up a little bit. Cash in hand. Yeah, happy with how it went. Man, dude, you made some moves this week, didn't you?
I did. I actually got Herbie in.
Yeah, nice.
So I picked a good week to do that.
Jealous.
And I also did Cleary to Cherry Evans because I thought Ches might come in with a bit of, grunt, a bit of ticker.
A bit of
ready
New South
to
Wales spirit.
Yeah.
Cat, what have I said about following Guru?
I think it went all right.
Honestly, I had nothing to do with what he was doing.
What did Ches get?
55.
Did he?
Yeah.
It was a 55.
Maybe.
It wasn't great.
He
It
got a
wasn't
nice little
terrible,
update
though.
too.
Yeah, 55 he got. So I'll take that.
He was heaps
But
less prior to updates, eh?
I scored
Can't remember.
1,024, not too bad, and I did go up in ranking.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm just on the cusp of the 30,000s now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But 21 trades, 3 boosts left.
Yeah, that's
So
good
I'm just
gear.
going to boost pretty much every week till the end of the season.
We've got 12 rounds after you have 21. So
I know. So I'm literally
nearly
going
2 a week.
I'm just maxing it out every week
Go
now.
hard.
Have you got Olaquatu?
Yeah. I also have Koloamatangi, so I was a bit worried about that, but it's good. I'm going to have to deal with the Homole injury.
You're pretty much cheering for injuries now, as fucked as that is, with all your
I
trades.
don't care. I'm like, well, I care for them,
Yes.
but I don't care for me.
From a selfish Supercoach point of view.
Selfishly, I'm like, who can I just buy?
You're in the carnage
I've also
business.
got 373K in the bank.
That's good. Yeah,
So
you're in a good spot. That's
big
exciting.
things happening on this side.
It's good. Like it's good that we're at this point of the year, and three of us are in pretty different positions.
Very different.
It's good for the show, I think. Like you're up there with the real heavy hitters. I'm still with the shit kickers, and I'm low on trades.
Don't start rolling this narrative.
I'm just struggling in the crowd. I forget my score every week. It's
Just a humble winner.
just a humble winner, you know. It's not my story you'll hear. Okay, so my season so far, a little bit different to Timmy's. I've never really been that high. I think this is just about the highest I've been. But I've never been in a train wreck position.
No.
Captains have just cost me on a number of occasions. There's actually been a number of times where I should have beaten you, but I made a shit captain decision. And not captains that like got 20s, but just got 50s and 60s. I've had a lot of 50s and 60s captains that I just haven't been able to really cash in on. I don't think I've taken as many outrageous punts as I usually do.
You've been pretty conservative, yeah.
Well, I have, but like I traded in Fletcher Sharp 2 weeks before everyone else did, and then he became the most popular trade, so that kind of fucked me. I've traded in Lomax, to be fair. That's been one little smoky I've gone for. I traded in Isako last week. By the way, cut up my quote from last week that we always say, you buy Isako and one of the wingers will score heaps of tries. Jack Bostock was giving away tries and he still scored 4. Just fucked to watch.
I said to you when we were talking captains, and I was like, it's risky. And you said, oh, why is it risky in that? I said, because the Dolphins can often just find an edge and hammer it.
Yep.
And they did, obviously, with almost 5 tries to Bostock. It just happened. They just happened to put 58 points on. So Osako kicked about 1,000 goals. What did he kick, 9 from 9 or something? Or 9 from 11?
9 from 10 and he missed his first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, outside of that, I haven't really taken any huge plunder. Like I've sold key guys like Cleary and Haas. We'll get to that question soon. But I'm sort of okay with where I'm sitting. I would usually have more trades by this point. I'd like to think I'd have a boost in the skyrocket. I don't. I'm okay where I'm at, but I do feel like if there's a run of injuries, I'm going to be really just hanging on for dear fucking life.
And that's it. With like we had a bit of chat about it on the body, and like Maxi Bride and he's 13 and Spies 14, and they're confident because they've got depth and they've got cash and all that, and it's fine, and they should be all okay because there's not that many players needing to get back in post-Origin. There's not many Origin players that they really need back in, and you'd be similar. There'd be a couple here and there, like maybe Cleary and whoever else, maybe a Munster. It's just you become a bit nervous around the injury front, and if injuries do hit badly, your trades look very thin. If they don't, you're laughing.
Yeah. So as far as your current placing goes, I mean, mate, considering you've had a pretty average month, is that fair?
I had 3 shit weeks.
Yeah, 3 shit weeks, which is pretty much a month.
Yeah.
To be sitting, what are you, 2,000 or 3,000?
Yeah, so very happy. 2,000.
You must be pretty happy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy with where I'm at. It's that little bit bitter because I was 700 so early. I'm like, I should build on this. But all things being equal, looking at it where it's at right now, I'm very happy with my squad. So I've got trades in the bank, got a boost in the bank, bit of money in the bank. So I like there's players that I'll need to get back, but there's not a heap. I've sort of got my final team that I want to aim towards. Obviously things change quickly, but as it stands right now, you know, top 1,000 is the absolute minimum aim.
Yeah.
Like my goal from here is probably top 100, but I'd have to have a big finish to state the obvious. I realise that, but you know, anywhere from, if I'm being realistic right now, I want to finish somewhere from 300 to 500, and the ultimate goal from how far back I am, I'd love to crack top 100, but yeah, I think realistically top 3 to 500.
Yeah, but I also think with you, like 2 good weeks can move those goalposts very. Like if the next 2 weeks are good for you, like top 500,
well,
you look
that's
at very
the thing.
good.
Too many buy rounds and a major buy round to come. You do well on those. You can go from 2,000 to 500 in a month.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden top 100 is very achievable. So it changes quickly. But as we know in Supercoach, Drew can go the reverse way. So,
100%. Yeah.
What about yourself?
I'm okay. I'm 7,000, which I'm always comparing myself to you on this show though. So I always feel like I'm a million behind. I'm not really
You're not
that far behind you, which means I'm not that far behind the top guys realistically. I know with me though, I will start to take gambles towards the back end, so I will swallow it up very quickly, or I'll fall behind very quickly. But I play I'd rather be fucking 20,000 than 1,300.
I'm not going to die wondering.
Yeah, I want to try and go as deep as I can and get as far up and carry on as much as I can. So, and I think I'm going to need that. I think I'm going to have to go, not heaps cowboy, but I'm going to have to make moves to catch you, I think. Because our teams are very similar as well.
Well, that's it. You don't have to go heaps cowboy. You've just got to go... You've got to start to look differently to me.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, I'm going to have to make some moves.
And a Fletcher Sharp sell last week, bang, there's the first one.
There's the first one, yes, which scares the shit out of me. But yes, there's the first one. Really was hoping Moses would be playing football so I'd have Lomax. But that's okay. We'll deal with that.
I just need Lomax not to do... There's an inevitable 140, 150 incoming.
Yeah.
I just need him not to do that in coming weeks before I get him in, because everyone will have him by post-origin. You just sit there going, just give me that one before everyone else jumps on.
What are you looking at with Herbie? Are you just...
Yeah, so...
It's gone or...
Yeah, reluctantly, I'm going to continue to antipod. And look, he's two of the big scores in his last three. So a 150 against depleted Cowboys due to Origin. Dragons put up nothing. He scored 105 and 71 against the Doggies without a few Origin players there. So the draw comes tougher. He has a bye in round 18, a bye in round 21, Warriors in round 22. But the big one is, mate, he's 815K, and there's blokes on the market and are about to come out of Origin. Zach Lomax, Val Holmes, Jacob Kiraz, all these blokes who can score every bit as good as him, if not more, at a lot lower ownership. I just sort of sit there and go, look, people will hold through the bye week, so I can have a Lomax or a Kiraz or whoever it might be through that. So, yeah, look, mate, I'm not happy about it, but at the price with the 150 that I've missed, I'm not ruling out buying him from like round 22 or round 23, but... Yeah, I'm just going to grit my teeth, mate.
Imagine if we get to the end of the season and we're sitting here saying Herbie Farmer's got to try every week from round 7 onwards.
And I'm very aware that he could average 90 for the run home. He's averaging 83 now, scored a ridiculous amount of tries. They could continue, mate. The Dolphins are looking great. He's playing terrific footy. Could just be the story of the season where you go, Tim, you never got Herbie in and he just destroyed you, but... With the incoming draw and those buyers and the price, I'm willing to do it.
Even if that happens, it's one of those ones where I think previous season we've looked back and gone, Latrell had the hot hand and we didn't get him, you idiots.
Yeah.
This just can't, it shouldn't have kept happening on the weekend. Just crazy how the guy outside him scored 4 tries. Like that 150, it was him that threw the last pass that he bombed as well, wasn't it?
Would have been.
It could have, it's just... Yeah, but it puts you in a fucking weird spot with this dude. I'm glad it's not a headache I have to deal with.
It sucks, but... And I said, the two buys in the next 6 weeks, like 815K.
Yeah, it's a lot of bicky. Yeah, unless
I'll get Kiraz instead next week. And
Yeah, it's a lot of bicky unless you've got 650K in your bank.
Unless you can do it with pocket money.
Okay, let's talk about the 13-man buys. Obviously came in last year, so we got a 3-week sample size of that. We're now up to a 5-week sample size. Bit more to go off. What do you take away from these? Has your thought process changed? What have we learned from the first 5?
Yeah, first and foremost, it is hard to make up ground. Like every year in SuperCoach, when you plan for the buy period, you could just make up thousands of spots. In fact, barring disaster, you would. For those well-planned SuperCoaches. It's just hard to do. That being said, I haven't gone overly hard at it, but I've made sure I've had my numbers for the major buy rounds, and first one was no good, held rank this round, and team went well, but obviously missed Herbie. I like it though. I know when it first came out, a lot of the serious super coaches and content creators and stuff were blowing up about how shit it is, basically because it didn't help them make up rank and make ranks look better. Hello, I was one of them. I had a shit year last year when it came in because I didn't adapt to it well enough. I like it, mate. At the end of the day, we want people playing SuperCoach and we don't want people getting to the first major buy round and it's top 17 or a squad of 18 and they have 7 players and their season's just done and it's stop playing.
Yeah.
We want people involved. We want the chat. We want the online community. We want people involved until round 27. Harder to make up ground for us. So be it. I think it's a great change, and it's good for the average Supercoach out there.
I completely agree. I think you said that really well. I think it's better in all for Supercoach. I think long term it's better. From a very selfish point of view as a content creator, I want more people playing.
Yeah, that too.
I'm all for it. So, I like it. And, I've got mates that quite often fade out. Like my best mate quite often is faded out by this point.
Heaps of people used to.
Heaps of people do, yeah. So
Still do, but used to a heap more.
Yeah, so I'm really on board with it. I like it. It does make it a little bit harder, but be fucking better.
Yep.
Adapt. Work it out.
Be smarter.
Sort your shit out.
People that adapted last year and probably didn't go too hard at it and probably had banging years.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think that I have probably gone a little bit harder at them than what you have.
This year?
Yeah, I think I have it. Like it's sort of played on my mind. Like I'm starting to look back, and it has played on my. Like I'm quite often looking at those. And I mean, like I went hard at last week, and I put points, but I only put Herbie on you. That was essentially. So I really like if it wasn't for
it was Herbie,
lightning striking on Herbie, I probably don't actually move the needle that much.
Yeah, like in going into this buy period, I said don't rip your team apart to get extra numbers for them, and that's where I've saved these extra trades. So, and again, my ranks stayed steady essentially.
Yes, yeah. I think more now, mate, I look at these major buy rounds as just stay with the pack.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be my approach heading into the future. It used to be
stay with pack, don't rip your team apart and set yourself too hard a goal to get back to your gun team post Origin and, shred yourself of trades.
Yeah. Don't rip your team apart and just don't shit the bed. Just be okay.
It's like last year I didn't rip it apart, but I went too hard and I lost ground, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now I've dropped trades off as a result of it. I have heaps of Origin players I need to get back in, etc. Like
I do think as well, like when we say don't rip your team apart, I think the other side of it is don't just hold on to dead weight for the sake of it. And I'm looking at Billy Smith now going, fuck. I don't know if I needed you. I don't know if I still need you.
The dead weight was my big one.
Yeah.
And it's spot on, and I've been able to cut a little bit of it. Billy, at his price, who's a good footballer, the Roosters draw, just the fact that they played every major and every minor, I think he was the exception to that dead weight rule.
I was looking at it last night going, I went from holding Smithies, just Smith. If anyone debuts next year named Smy, you're going to be in my side.
It was written there right in front of us.
Yeah. That's probably my biggest takeaways from it. But overall, I prefer it as it is. So
that's great.
It's good gear. All right. Well, we just get into trades and captains this week, mate. What are you thinking this week as far as trades? I'll be honest with you. At this point, barring some really good numbers on Talakai, some very convincing arguments, I probably don't think I'm trading this week, but I'm also not an Olakau'atu owner, so I don't have to deal with that problem. What are you thinking?
I'll be getting Kiraz next week. So, one easy one is just potentially holding Ola and then next week going Lucas up, Ola out, and getting Kiraz at centre, which is very manageable.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've got a few people that I'll be able to sell in coming weeks in the CT dub spot as well. If I want to go one of them to Kiraz and then Ola to, say, a back rower. We had a good chat about it on Playable. I like the look of Kikau, mate. I think you'll probably hate that, but I also think you
do, but yeah.
Yeah, but you also guarantee you haven't looked at him, so...
That is so fucking rude and accurate. It's insane.
Rudely accurate.
Yeah. But look, I'm happy to keep that for conversation for next week because he's on the buy, so it's irrelevant. But the numbers are good. I don't think I'll do it because it feels boring. And as you said,
numbers are good.
Yes, I know.
I'll see you next week, but the numbers are good.
I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to do it, but Beau Fermor really has my interest.
Yeah.
80-minute man. His base is outstanding. I think I haven't updated it from. I think we spoke about him last week. We did. I had him on my stat deep dive, but I think he was averaging 73 at centre or something this year.
Yep.
Base the last 7 weeks has been 52 plus every game. He's got attack in him. He's running off Kieran Foran. His dual. So if you have Dill Lucas down the bottom and Fermor up top, just for depth and options later on when injuries hit, that's awesome. I think he's a great play.
Can I ask you? I agree with you. I think Fermor's a really good play. If you're me, if I've got Lucas, Aiken, and Fermor, am I getting too close to 2016 Supercoach? Do you want to have all three, or do you want 2 out of 3 of those jobs?
But like Lucas is an out-and-out keeper.
Yes.
Fermor has that 70-plus average. That's keeper. Aitken's probably a buy-period play that you looked. Aitken is the one, I think, that unless he really hits his straps, you probably pull the trigger on him after the Bunnies play round 18 or even that 19 one. They've got to buy round 19.
Yep.
Round 19, like an Aitken, if he's not hit his straps and found any attack, that you move to the Val Holmes or the whoever the Origin players that you don't have, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, like, kind of yes. Look, scores are scores. Lucas is a keeper. Fermor, I think, is a keeper. The other thing is squads are going to get deeper and deeper. You don't necessarily have to play them every week, but if they end up being your 17th man like Fermor, not bad. So, no, I wouldn't be concerned.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a bit boring, but sometimes boring works.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I don't think in my position where I'm chasing you, boring is going to work for me. I think I need to go for some ceilings personally, but
you're not that far behind.
No, I'm not, but I'm going to have to make moves somewhere, and if I'm going to make any jumps, to give you the hot tip, it's probably CTW.
Yeah,
realistically,
it's the spot.
Yes, so and I've already got guys that you don't have like Lomax and Isako.
For what it's worth,
actually, you don't have most of my CTWs. To be fair.
For what it's worth, I'm talking Ola to Fermor at 2RF. Like, 2RFs aren't that good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Like, I've got Lucas in my 2RF at the moment still.
Yeah.
I've been able to move him down yet. For me, as I said, I don't have my own old Kawatu. I don't really have any issues in my side. I wouldn't mind saving 2 trades one weekend at some point this year, so this might be it. My 17 that I've got this week I think is pretty sweet. There's no one shit v starts. Like, I'm feeling okay about nearly all my guys backing up from Origin. The only one I'm concerned with, I guess, is Tino.
Yeah.
And if he's out, I play it. And if he, I've got a Billy Smith. I've got a Vi Malga who's doing okay at the moment. So, yeah, I'm sort of sitting okay on that front. Captains, what are you?
Tino's my only Origin player still.
Yeah, I think he's my only. I was actually just scanning that as well.
I sold Cleary.
Oh, sorry, I've got Lomax as well. I need him, but I'm feeling. I think Lomax will back up. What are you, captain wise, mate? Do we, in a week like this where there's a bit of carnage around, do you just chuck the VC on Terrell May early, or do you want to go for a bit more?
I like Pappenhausen against the Rabbitohs.
Yep.
I like James Tedesco against the Cowboys.
Yep. Okay. What if? Yeah. Okay. What if you come away from State of Origin 2 and Harry Grant's played 80 minutes? He's gone the distance. You're not sure if he'll back up for Melbourne. Is that like
not really? Well, it's not ideal, but
doesn't impact you at all with Ryan Pappenhausen?
Well, it'd only be a VC. Like,
yeah,
I'd probably be copping a. In saying that, the thing about this week is, I don't think people are going to have many more than that sort of 18, 19, 20 marks. So it'll be maybe not a free VC loop, but it'll be a pretty good one. Yeah, like my shittest player who I'm not playing is currently Billy Smith.
Yeah,
I mean, here's one for you. Like, if you were to go on early, like Terrell May or whoever it might be, if they went well, you could potentially save a trade and get a free VC loop. Food for thought.
What if you're a
say you're sitting on 18 or 19 players.
Yeah.
And you go, all right, don't need to worry about it. Get the free VC loop. Anyway.
What would you okay. So I would say most people would be looking at either Pappy or Teddy. I think they are the two obvious ones you've pointed out there, which I think is fair.
I think Teddy's the one.
I think Teddy's the one. I agree with you. I'm not huge on the Ryan Pappenhausen play. What would you have to take from Terrell May to walk away happy? The beauty of going... Oh, actually, you probably won't. It's Friday, not Thursday, isn't it? I was going to say you might have an update, but you probably fucking won't.
After last week, who knows?
Yeah.
If I were to go... Like, if I was to loop like a Terrell or whoever for that matter...
85?
Probably 100.
100 you need? Yeah. I think I'd be leaning towards the same.
I think Teddy rips the cows.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Even if the Roosters don't win, I think there'll be points in that game.
Yeah.
Their edges defensively, I was like, oh, Teddy will swallow that shit.
I think it'd take a lot for Terrell May to ton up again. Yeah, maybe
Raiders
you're right.
pack.
Maybe Pappy is just the better play. The more you're talking me around on it. Anyone else you consider there, mate? Like if you're a Herbie owner, or do you Knights defense been pretty good this year?
No, I wouldn't Herbie against the Knight.
I'll tell you who is the other real pod play if you had the balls to do it. And I'll tell you what, the other thing that I would consider here, if I could make it work with it, I'm not sure if I can, I would love to maybe even have the VC on Teddy and look at a Jaden Campbell captaincy against Parramatta.
Jaden's body scares the shit out of me.
It scares the shit out of me too. Yeah, it's not for the and I talk a big game that I'd love to do. I don't know if I'd have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And the only thing is I've got Tui Simpkins, so I could, but I still don't think I'll be able to. Oh, his dual position, could I? Maybe no, I probably couldn't still. Unless I start Tino, and then I guess I actually could do it if I really wanted to. But yeah, Jaden Campbell's probably the only other one I'd consider. Mate, I watch Jaden Campbell every week, and I get to the end of the game, and I'm like, that was a good 60. Nope, 90.
I know. He's the most underrated accumulator in Supercoach. He just notches points in all categories.
Like it used to be Hines. Fuck that. It's Jaden Campbell.
Loves a tackle bust, loves a run, loves a repeat set, loves a try contribution. Like, which is anything he hasn't done stuff. It's like, oh, he actually had 3 try contributions and he actually kicked 5 from 5 and he just makes 22 tackles. He just finds a way.
And he always seems to go up 10 or 15 in updates. Yeah. He's the only one that I would seriously consider there, but I think I agree with you, mate. I think Teddy's going to be
he's the man.
Pretty damn hard to go past. Shout out to King Tonga on the weekend. Thank Christ. Break even of 4. 329K will make a little bit of bicky, thank God.
Something for you.
But that's been a tough little watch there, let's be honest here. Also, shout out to Nathan Lawson, who I traded in early. He's been playing first grade for 8 seconds and he's got a break even of 34. Might lose money on him this week.
Thankfully dodged that one for the time being.
Yeah.
Did he get named? I don't know the buy.
No, on the buy. I'll tell you what was the most disappointing thing about today. I'm reading in the last 48 hours all this stuff. Turbo's going to play centre. Fucking guys have been dropped. Carnage. We get to team list. They're on the fucking buy. I was so excited to read that. I completely forgot they were on the buy.
Not even there.
Fuck, they went early on that. 10 days away. It's wild.
I mean, there's another one for you. Like talking about Herbie antipods. Like Lehigh's now fullback as it stands. He's a huge buy next week.
I know someone that will be buying Lehigh next week without a doubt.
He burnt me. He burnt me.
Hat Kadad. She'll be there for it.
You don't think she'll be too stubborn?
No.
So, bought and sold.
I'm not really a stubborn person.
Not a stubborn person.
Bought and sold.
I bought
3
and sold.
times.
Yeah, because he got injured. No, just the once. Just the once. I've only bought him the once.
Okay, so Cats trades next week are sorted.
I will seriously be considering.
I am like Lehigh's biggest fan.
You are.
You
are. What are his numbers at full? I feel like his numbers at fullback aren't as good as I think they are. I think I heard someone say this the other day.
They started not that well, but they've been coming good. He was like...
Fuck, that'd make me very heavily invested in Manly. I don't know if I can do that.
That's my problem is I have too many Manly players. So it's actually quite unlikely that I'll get Lehigh as well.
He had 107 in his last game that wasn't 6 minutes at fullback. Anyway.
And what are his next few weeks? He'll play the Tigers,
South
at
Brookie,
Melbourne
Rabbitohs at Brookie, Melbourne at Brookie. Not bad.
Are they playing Souths at Brookie?
Yeah.
Damn, might have to go to that.
By the way, we didn't really talk about the elephant in the room this week. Connor Tracy scored a try on the weekend. Back to 7. He's gone 68 and 75 since I traded him out. So I traded him in for 2 weeks. He went 27-18. I traded him out. He went 68-75. So, and you know what? 68-75 is good. It's not great, but it's heaps fucking better than 27 and 18.
It's not 27 and 18.
It's not even close to 27 and 18.
Shout out to myself. Held played with
I know you played him.
With bated breath. Yeah. And then he scored late on in the game and was called back.
Yes, I was stoked about that. Yeah, can't win them all.
Yeah, gradually regaining a bit of positive energy from this show.
All right. Is there anything else you want to touch on, mate?
I'm going home to bed.
Yeah, so am I. Once again, guys, stay tuned for the rest of the week across SC Playbook, Roo Crew, Guru. We'll update you. Origin's going to be carnage. We know that. Stay tuned to what's going on there. I love last Origin. I jumped on and did a podcast on the Friday, and I went through all the teams and all my info I had, and I was like, I think these guys will be okay. I think we'll be sweet. And then like 4 players got ruled out within the hour. I was like,
Nice.
mad. Glad I did that. Shout out to you, Melbourne, resting everyone. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll let you know later in the week what's doing there. Blue Wealth Property, they've got their events in Queensland over the next few weeks. Details are down below, and Lontel as well. If you want to test out that lightning fast internet, hit the link down below. Give that a go. Try it out for the first week for free, and then make your decision. All done? Settled, sold. Thank you to Kat for her enormous shift. No late show. No bueno. No fucking late show this week.
This is the late show.
This is the late show. This would have been the late show if it started at 4 p.m.
Volandi's doubled down. Called us, said we're not having the double up of State of Origin and the late show, 8 p.m. Wednesday. He said ratings are too important. The TV deal's too important. He said it worked well potting it in the first Origin. We're doing it again. And I was not in the mood to argue.
I love how all in you went on that.
For someone who wants to go to bed, like you took a while to get to that.
I thought that sentence was going to finish 3 times and he just kept going. I was like, fuck yes.
It was going a heap slower in my head as well.
I love that. All right. We'll see you next week on Beers and Breakevens.